Okay guys, welcome back to California Driver. If you just came from my first video talking about the 9 differences between Uber and Lyft, thank you so much for watching. This one will be a little bit shorter, and I just want to talk about the most important difference between the two rideshare platforms, Uber and Lyft, and that is the destination filter. So if you're new to rideshare, whether you're a driver or just a rider that has nothing better to do than to learn about what drivers are up to, the rideshare destination filter is the reason why I still drive rideshare. Without this, it would make driving rideshare much less profitable and much more difficult to justify if you ended up 2 hours from your house and you need to be home, or you just want to be home and you have to drive 2 hours home, turning off your apps and not driving any passengers around. So what the destination filter does is allows you to receive trip requests mostly on your way home. Let's say you're driving you live out in Upland, which is about, 40 miles from Los Angeles, and you're driving home. You can set a destination filter from downtown Los Angeles out to Upland, and you will only receive requests that are relatively on your way. If you haven't seen my video on why you should always use a destination filter on your way to and from work for the purpose of tax breaks, please go ahead and click this link up here and watch that video before you even watch this one. It will give you that much more incentive to finish this video. First of all, destination filters are an amazing way to cut your gas costs on your way to and from work, as well as, like I said earlier, just make it so you aren't spending a ton of idle time or empty time driving home from area. Now that you've watched that video, let's get into the nitty-gritty on the differences between Uber and Lyft and their destination filters. So right now, Uber allows you 2 destination filters per day, meaning that each day you can accept a trip on a destination filter at least one time, oftentimes multiple trips. I had one the other day, I got 4 destination trips on the same filter, and that counts as 1 destination filter used. One cool feature about this is if you do not receive a trip while using that destination filter, it does not expire. So if I drive from here to work and I put on a destination filter and I don't get a trip request, I still have 2 destination filters to use for the day, which I think is pretty cool. And those that like to drive and do airport runs, you can throw it on and head back to the airport. If you don't get a trip back towards the airport, you still have 2 to use for later on in the day. Uber does restrict when you can use these destination filters, however, and most of the time during peak hours, like rush hour or weekend, certain hours, it'll just not allow you. It'll say that due to network reliability, it will not allow you to do it because, and I agree with them, I tend to only accept maybe 60 to 70% of my destination trips, just depending on how far it may be off my path. Sometimes it'll be a ride that you're gonna drop them off generally on your way, but it might be 6 minutes off the freeway and another 6 minutes to come back. I just don't really feel like doing it sometimes. So where I normally accept 85 to 90% of rides, my destination trips, I tend to only accept 60 to 70% of my trips. Uber knows this, and during rush hours, they do not allow you to use destination filters. At least here in Los Angeles, it's not until 8 p.m. that I can use a destination filter to come home, usually in the afternoon. If I drive in the mornings and I finish up around 10 or 11 a.m., no problem. But it's just during those rush hours that you have to wait until the end of the rush hour period to be able to access those destination filters. As for Lyft, their system operates very differently. On Lyft, you have 6 destination filter requests that you can use per day. There is no time frame to which you are restricted from using them, at least none that I have seen. Any time of the day, I'm able to put on that filter, and I tend to get off of work around 7 p.m., sometimes 7:30, and I'm not able to put on an Uber destination filter to come home. I can only use a Lyft one. So there are no restrictions as to time. However, with Lyft, once you've put in a destination trip filter, whether you get a trip request or not, that filter now expires. So if I put one into work and I do not get a trip request, I now only have 5 for the rest of the day. Would you think, oh, that's still quite a bit? But because I tend to put both of them on at the same time, if I put an Uber and a Lyft filter on at the same time, and I get an Uber trip request and have to turn my Lyft app off, I now have lost that destination filter for the day, where it doesn't work the other way. If I get a Lyft trip request and I turn my Uber app off, I still have those two filters. So just a little bit of difference. It just means, you know, if you're doing airport runs and you drive specifically for Lyft, you may run out of those trip requests before the end of your day if you use them every time you come back. So just a thought. It's a minor difference, but it is a difference that I'm aware of throughout the day. It's like, crap, I only have 2 requests left and I've got to make sure I use them wisely. I personally believe that Uber's trip destination filter is a bit more liberal than Lyft's. On Uber, I've had trips where, you know, for me in a certain area, it might be 30 minutes to get home, and I give a 20-minute trip, and I'm still like 25 minutes from home because it was kind of in the general area. Yes, now it's less time for me to get home, but it's not that much less time. Whereas Lyft, if I do receive a destination filter request, it tends to be much more direct on my way home. Maybe only less than 5 minutes out of my way, and will add less than 5 more minutes to my trip distance once I've dropped that person off, which I think is pretty cool. So if you are in a hurry, this is just my opinion. If you are in a hurry and you don't want to risk your acceptance rate dropping on one platform or the other, maybe just throw on your Lyft destination filter rather than both of them, because like I said, Ubers tend to be a bit more liberal in terms of what they think towards your destination actually means. My experience when I was driving from Sacramento to San Francisco was about 2 hours for me to get to work. I would throw on an Uber destination trip every single time I entered the San Francisco Bay Area, which was as far as Fairfield, which is still an hour from work. And almost like clockwork, I got a trip request that took me into the city almost every day. And it helped me for 2 reasons. Not only was I getting paid to drive to work, but it covered my bridge tolls as well. And so that's the case if you drive in New York City or New Jersey, or, you know, I know Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, they have a lot of toll roads as well. When you pick up riders on your way to work, your tolls will be covered. They're being paid by the rider. And that's, I mean, it's really invaluable if you think about it. I probably saved hundreds of dollars that I would have had to have spent on my way to work by picking up a passenger that took me over the bridge, because they're paying my toll as well as I'm getting paid to drive them, which is freaking awesome. Even if you don't want to drive rideshare even semi-permanently, even less than 10 hours, I so recommend signing up for Uber and Lyft solely so you can use this on your way to work, especially if you live in a suburb very far, like an hour to 90 minutes. You have a 90-minute commute into work. You should be accessing this every single day, and not only helping your bottom line come tax season, but getting paid to drive into work and breaking up the monotony of your day. I so recommend that you sign up just so you can do this. I won't get any referral money out of it because I guarantee you're not going to drive 100 trips in 60 days. But you know what you will do? You will see a difference in how much extra money you have to pay for your gas at the end of the month. And come tax season, when all those miles are tax deductible because you're on the job, you'll thank me. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up. I promise you, you will not regret using destination filters. If you're new to rideshare, they are your best friend, and I encourage you to use them whenever possible, whenever it makes sense. Guys, if you love this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. We just surpassed 2,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.